Hello, hello.
Hello.
Irena Travar, how are you?
I'm very fine, thank you. And you?
Good. We're getting just about set, about another minute or two.
All right, of course.
How is the weather there?
Perfect.
I
Actually,
know.
Canary Islands, always perfect weather. So it's sunny.
I wish I was there, seriously.
Well, you can come on holiday. You can
Yeah,
come during the whole year.
yeah.
So here we don't have high season and low season. It's season during the whole year, high season.
I think we're about ready to go. I want to make sure that you
All
are a
right.
co-host and that you can share your screen.
Mhm.
Okay. I think I'm going to let everybody in. Are you ready?
All right. Of course, I'm ready.
Let's go. Hello, everybody coming in. How are you today?
We are fine. How are you?
Hey,
All right.
Asambanda.
Yes,
Good to see you again.
my pleasure.
Rato,
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm good.
You're looking good. Sunshine,
Thank you,
at least.
thank you. Sunshine, yeah, look at that, look at that, look
Yeah.
at that. Look at that. Thank you. It's nice and bright and shiny here today.
Well, our speaker today is from the Canary Islands, and I think you cannot beat the weather in the Canary Islands.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes.
Does it ever get windy there?
In the Canary Islands?
Yes.
Yes, yes, especially in maybe north or northeastern parts of the island. So it's windy, and sometimes we have weather that's called kalima, that is from Africa, from Sahara. So sometimes, not very often, but we might have some sandy storms here.
Oh.
So it's not something that can happen maybe, I don't know, once a year or twice, some really heavy sandy storms, but actually it's only a couple of days, so we are all used to it, and it's not dangerous.
The sand is good.
Yeah, well, that's why we have like warm weather during winter, so it's okay.
Where is everybody from? Go ahead and say.
I'm
Where are
from
you?
Lesotho in Southern Africa.
South Africa?
Lesotho.
Antwi? Ghana? Reloinde?
Yes, I'm Gelonde from Ivory Coast.
Ivory Coast. Beautiful countries.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
The wide open horizons. Oh. Well, I think we can start now.
All right, of course. I will share my screen and my presentation. Just a moment.
Well, welcome everybody. May you enjoy this presentation, and may this presentation inspire you to new ideas.
Hey,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, I'll really be glad to inspire you. So, well, I'm Irena Travar. I'm actually from Serbia, from one small country, southeastern part of Europe, but currently I live in Spain on the Canary Islands, actually on the island of Tenerife. So I hold a PhD in geosciences, and my area of expertise is tourism. My first PhD I got from the University of Belgrade from Serbia, and currently I'm doing my second PhD here in Tenerife at the University of La Laguna. And here my main area where I'm dedicating my research work is sustainable tourism. So in line with that, today's session will be about anthropocentrism and sustainable tourism. So actually, I would like to connect the era in which humanity is currently, and to connect it with the need to reorient the development of tourism towards sustainable development. So before actually talking about anthropocentrism and its connection and relation with tourism, I would like just to share with you the economic impact of global travel and tourism sector, so that we can know well how important it is in the global industry. So here I have a comparison of the years 2019, 2020, and 2021. So before the pandemic, tourism had 1 of 4 of all global net new jobs. So actually that was like 10.3 percentage of global GDP, its share in global GDP. And when we talk about jobs in tourism, there were like 333 million jobs, or 1 in 10 of global employment. So what happened with pandemic? Actually, these numbers decreased drastically. So around 42 million of jobs were lost. And in 2020, tourism had like 1 in 12. Oh, I'm sorry. 1 in 12 jobs of all global employment. So in 2021, the industry starting to recover, but actually slower than it was expected, because of many other circumstances that and situations that happened all over the world. First of all, that there was another variant of COVID-19, like Omicron variant. So some border restrictions that were inconsistent. So actually people could not travel wherever they wanted to travel because of these restrictions. And also there was a lack of coordination among governments. So we have recovery in 2021, but actually, as I said, not as it was expected. So, for example, more than 18 million jobs were gained, but actually, if we see that 62 million were lost, so we still don't have numbers that were before the pandemic. When we look at the future, so some key facts for the next decade, from 2022 to 2023, we can see that the future looks very positive. So we expect the average annual growth of travel and tourism sector to be 5.8%. This is yearly. So also when we compare with the global economy GDP, we see that tourism will increase faster than the global economy, which is really positive for our industry. But actually, what I wanted to emphasize here is that not only numbers are important for travel and tourism industry. Of course, we want them to be higher because we will have more economic impacts, positive economic impacts. But actually, toxic tourism is a type of tourism that nobody wants to experience, neither a local population or tourists. And what happened before the pandemic, that some of the world's most popular destinations have been ruined because many people visited these destinations, and while it was good for business and for of course gaining capital, it disrupts local people, their way of life, something they are used to. So if we have a number of tourists that will continue to grow without any restrictions, so we will have everything that we had before the pandemic. And these were some protests, some rebellions by local people, because actually if governments take some decisions, they rarely take into account local people and their needs. but actually, as we know, when we travel, we want to see local culture. We want to see what the country can offer us. That is where we have some disagreements, and that is why we have some protests that are organized by local people. For example, here I wanted to mention Barcelona in Spain and Maya Bay in Thailand. Barcelona, like the city that's very, very commercial, the city that actually is the most visited destination by international tourists in Spain. And what happened? There were more and more tourists each year, and some people were kicked off, for example, from their apartments because owners could make more money if they rented these apartments out to tourists. So there was also a large number of illegal beds in apartments, and all of that influenced the local population to protest and to raise their voice. So they were calling for more shops, for more homes rather than businesses. Also, we need to take account pollution that was caused by cruise ships, especially in Barcelona, and also by private cars. What happened is that the government took some decisions and some regulations. So, for example, now there is a law in Spain that, for example, new licenses are not given to all of them who issue licenses, for example, for accommodation rentals. Also, tour guides, if they have guided tours, they cannot have more than 30 tourists in one group, or in some special areas, in some smaller streets and older parts of Barcelona, not more than 15 tourists. So actually, this is something that that was put into force, and also like routes, tourist routes, are limited to certain streets and squares. So we cannot now have tours all over Barcelona like it happened before. So actually, we are still waiting to see if these measures will have some positive impact on the local population, because as I mentioned, we still don't have numbers of tourists like we had before 2019, but actually it is expected that by the end of 2023, we are going to have the same number of tourists all over the world than it was before the pandemic. Another example is Maya Bay in Thailand, one very famous and popular beach in Thailand. It became popular in the year 2000 because of the famous movie, The Beach, about one fictional island that was hidden from the rest of the world. So the island became very popular, and for example, at one period of time, there were more than 5,000 tourists a day. That was actually much more than this area could support. So there were high number of boats. Tourists were everywhere. They were, for example, picking up coral reefs as souvenirs, and also they were feeding aquatic animals. So actually, the nature and the aquatic life, marine life, almost disappeared. So what actually the government knew that they should do something, and what they did, now they have some of the measures to combat over tourism. So for example, advanced booking now is required, because Maya Bay was closed for 4 years, from 2018 to actually this year, beginning of this year. So after closing the beach completely, the aquatic and marine life again appeared in this bay, and now advanced booking is required. Also, there is a limited number of people who can visit this beach, so that it's not like it was before the pandemic. So no more
Irena,
boats.
how does advanced booking control tourism?
Well, advanced booking, because they have limited number of tourists that can book. For example, in Maya Bay, they have, I think, not more than 350, 400 people. So, for example, when they want to book a tour by boat, once it's fully booked, no more tourists can book. But before, everyone who wanted to visit Maya Bay could book, could get there were unlimited number of tickets. So actually, everyone who wanted to visit it could visit Maya Bay. But now it's not like that. Advanced booking is needed. So actually, there is a limited number of tickets, for example, a day, limited number of boats and tourists. For example, we have the same measure here in Tenerife, because we have Teide National Park, and the same system we use to control number of tourists, and it really works. For example, here I know that if we want to take a tour, we need to book like 1 month or 2 months earlier sometimes, if these are like periods of holidays. So actually, advanced booking can really help, because we that's how we can control numbers, like the best way to control numbers. And also, another measure is that, for example, tourists can swim, dive, snorkel only in designated areas, not like everywhere in the whole way like it was before. So now they are exactly areas where they can swim, and areas that they can only visit, for example, and some areas where they even cannot go. So actually, these are some measures taken by the government in Thailand. And for now, well, like some reports that I've read, local people are really satisfied with it, and they say they completely recovered the nature in that part. And this is the era of Anthropocene, where actually we are now. We are in the Anthropocene, the era that began with James Watt in 18th century in Great Britain. So there were two engines that completely changed the world, the way of life. These are the New Common and Watt's steam engine. So what happened that in England, the growing population started consuming for England's forests more, and the market for coal also continued to grow because it preserved timber growth. So what happened? The solution were these two engines, like machines, New Common and Watt steam engine. So actually, it allowed coal mines to delve deeper into the ground. So England's coal industry was expanding. What happened in the world in that period? So if we look at this graph, we can see that in this period, the population started increasing, but actually we have some slight increase before. But if we look at 18th century, we see that it's a rapid increase. It happened that actually, if you look at all graphs, economic graphs, you will have the curve. You will see the curve like this, just rapidly increasing the exploitation, for example, of natural resources, the number of populations. So many things happened in the world, especially with this. With these two engines. And also, for example, this is the period where the first tour trips were organized. So also I would like here to mention Thomas Malthus, an 18th century British economist. He was known for his theory that our population tends to outgrow actually the agricultural production possibilities. So finally, it can result in famines and other disasters. So it will happen that one day we will have more people that will need more natural resources that actually agriculture can give us. So in order not to happen this, we need to reorient our humanity and the world towards sustainable development. Here we have two terms, Anthropocene and catholicin. Anthropocene is like just the period that is focused on humans, on our individual needs. So actually we use everything that we need. It doesn't matter if will produce some negative consequences on nature or well, whatever. So that means that we have access to all public resources that we can use. And I want to say something, that we have the tragedy of the individual and of the global society. By this, I mean the tragedy of the individual. Actually, even though we have unlimited resources and we can access them, we are in a certain way limited, and we don't have, for example, enough information about all the everything, all the opportunities that we can use. For example, in tourism sector, if you open some small enterprise and you want to develop your business in accordance with principles of sustainability, you will see that actually you don't have enough financial resources, you need more people, but actually your business cannot support it because you cannot gain enough income for all of these things at the beginning. So actually it happens, the tragedy of the individual and of the global society, that actually we have the same situation in the whole world. I was inspired here by one article, Tragedy of the Commons by Garrett Hardin from 1968, that was published in journal Science. So the tragedy of the commons actually is a situation where individuals, even though have access to public resources like commons, they can deplete these resources. So actually, that is our tendency, that we use everything based on our personal needs. We don't care, regardless of this negative impact that it can produce on others. So some of examples are also deforestation or animal extinction, like overfishing, overhunting, also depletion of natural resources. And for example, climate change is also one tragedy of one example of the tragedy of the commons. So what should we do is to reorient to catholicin. Catholicin means that human beings are not only important actors. Actually, human beings are with and of the earth. So all biotic and abiotic powers of the earth are important. So actually, if we do something, if we want to produce something, we should really be aware of all the negative consequences and do something that will not produce any negative consequences on nature or on other people, like, for example, over tourism, that we have so many negative consequences on local population and on local regions. So actually, it's not important to have in mind only profit, but also it's about humanity. And when just we go back to tourism and sustainable tourism and the era of Anthropocene where we are currently, so we have sustainable development goals, like 17 of them by United Nations. And we have 3 of them, like 8, 12, and 14, that are exactly connected to tourism industry. Of course, we can connect all other sustainable development goals to tourism industry. That's something that I'm currently trying to do for my second PhD here at the University of La Laguna. So here, it's not important only
Irena,
the private.
can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
Are you focusing on any particular type of goal in your own research?
Yes, I'm focusing on several of them. So actually, I'm focusing on several related to social benefits and then consequences. Also, some that are related to environmental, and some that are related to economic. So actually, because we have 17 goals, but we can divide them into 3 main groups, like social, economic, and environmental. So actually, I'm doing several for each group.
Can I ask you how you are doing your research? Are you doing questionnaires?
Yes, that is something that I'm currently doing. Actually, I'm preparing a questionnaire for small and medium enterprises. So that is that I want to see, for example, to see if their market orientation, if some principles of circular economy also and innovation influence their sustainability. So my aim is to connect like circular economy, innovations, and market orientation to sustainable development. So I'm currently wait, I just want to open preparing a questionnaire for small and medium enterprises, and I will see when when I conduct it, I will see the consequences. And also my goal is to see if we can somehow measure. Wait, I know what's happening. I'm just trying to move my mouse. My presentations is constantly, yes, like this.
I see something happening.
Yeah, something is happening. I see that like it's moving, but I'm not doing anything. Okay, so actually that is my goal. I want to see if I can measure. I think that I gave permission to somebody to enter my computer. So actually, when I open my PowerPoint, it just minimizes.
Do you want to restart it?
No, but actually, can you see what I'm sharing?
Yes, it says towards a sustainable tourism.
Yes, but I don't know it. Then it's something with my screen. It's okay. So actually, what I wanted to say is that I want to see if somehow we can measure sustainable development of tourism enterprises that's actually still in the process, and we still don't have some measurement scales that we can use for example, different countries and different enterprises. So that is something that I'm trying to figure out.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Just a moment. Yeah, so here I would like to start discussion, debate about sustainability and tourism. So I would like to hear some examples from some students, or of course, if you have some question also for me, you can ask now. So about positive and negative impacts of tourism. If you have some concrete examples from your town, your city, or country, or actually doesn't need to be from your city, if you know some other examples in the world, and to tell me what are the main problems and how, for example, government is dealing with it, or local population. So actually some concrete examples, like for example, the one that I gave for Maya Bay and for Barcelona. So you can share with me some positive and negative sides. If we have some students that would like to take part in this discussion.
You can write your questions in chat, or you can raise your hand. Let me know, then I can ask you to unmute your microphone. There we go. Barcelona.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, this is Barcelona from Botswana. I am not describing the city. I'm describing the situation in the Okavango Delta, our World Heritage Site, because it's an inland delta, and we only get it nourished by the rivers from Angola. We don't have a lot of rains here. To me, it is under strain because people have started making small landing airstrips for aircraft, and it's interfering a lot with the vegetation. It's also interfering a lot with the animals which are used to nice, cool weather in the delta itself. So they start moving out to, cause havoc in villages. So also we interfere with the streams, the channels in the delta, because it survives on the distributaries. It's an inland delta, so its water is limited, and interference in the terrain of the channels causes a lot of negative impacts. So vegetation, the wildlife is being disturbed, and many other things with the fragile soils, heavy vehicles running up and down on tourism. That is my concern as an environmentalist. Thank you.
Okay, and I would like to know, well, how do you see that this problem could be solved? Do you have any idea, or is local population doing something to solve this problem?
Well, it's always somebody else with the upper hand rather than the local community for sure. Local communities are always complaining on the elephant-human conflict in particular, because now if you disturb the habitat and they move, they are very large animals. When they move out, like if you go to one town near the Victoria Falls, they are everywhere, even at a filling station. So you go somewhere early, you are in danger. So this animal-human conflict is the issue. They raise their voice, but they don't have the upper hand.
I understand.
So,
so actually, you don't think that in the next period the problem can be solved? All right.
Well, to me, from experience, at my age, I always see these people who are behind the profit bullying others. You'll talk, what can you do when you have money? I guess if you had money to sue everybody, you'll make it, but it's impossible. So, because, I used to work in the Office of Environment some time ago. How many years ago? Many years ago. So I've been to these consultations, what on the natural resource management and what. I've never seen it work. The only time you see it work is when the international arm takes great interest. I've seen that.
Okay.
So I have no hope because, well, I was working in the when did I retire? 1990? Something like that. Yeah, I think it was 1990, yeah, end of 1990. And I was a vocal environmentalist. I was on the CBD desk, front desk, and we talk about it really. As far as I'm concerned, things only move when the big international organization stands up. Well, I know there could be a lot of talk, but up to this date, the delta is degraded. We even have lodges along the fringes of the delta because of tourism. So this is really disturbing to the wildlife there. I mean, hippos love cool weather under the big shady trees in the mud. Then when you have the lodges there, obviously you have your toilets going there and everything. But I don't see any hope, so to speak. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, that's actually, I completely understand you. That's actually what happens in developing countries, that the ones who have the power to change something, actually economic benefits are always the first. So actually it's not the first, neither the last example of this, but I think that we definitely could do something, especially for our towns, our cities, so the area where we live. Okay, do we have some other student that would like to share an example with us, or has now some question?
There's a question in chat from Akande. Why is it hard for African governments to make tourism a revenue generating, to generate revenue? for the continent? Why is it hard in Africa?
Well, actually, first of all, I have to say that I've been to Africa, yes, I think once. So I cannot talk from my own experience, but actually, why is it difficult for Africa? I think that Africa is one of the most, definitely one of the most beautiful continents with nature, with everything, with people, because I've been working with people from all over the world and have some clients and students from Africa. But actually, I think that this is an example where we have the governments that, as I said, economic effects are the most important for them, but actually local people are the ones who offer local culture, local traditions, who offer these services to tourists, but they don't gain benefits. So, and it also always happens that we have international investors, so big companies that invest and that, for example, build huge hotels or hotel chains. And of course, everything that they gain, it doesn't go even to that country or to that government. It goes to some external countries. So actually, this is something that I see as the main problem for Africa. But actually, I'm happy to see that many new destinations in Africa, tourist destinations, are opening, and we are discovering more and more from this continent. So that's something that I see as one positive side, because of course we have some negative aspects, but we need to look positively and to try to do as much as we can. I know that we don't have a power to control something, but actually we can raise our voice, and we are here to share positive and negative examples and to learn from other examples from the world. So actually, with Africa, I'm very disappointed that it's like that in Africa. But I think that in future tourism actually will bring more benefits to the whole continent, because also in Africa.
Let me ask you, some of the students here are looking for opportunities for work and careers. What sort of things could just a student do to develop a career in tourism, or to develop tourism in their community?
Well, first of all, I think that one way would be with the non-governmental organizations. For example, if you want to have some kind of organization, and of course, if you have time, and if you have some job, because from non-governmental organization you cannot earn a salary for you and for employees. So I think that it would be really good idea to maybe organize several students from different faculties or from the same faculty that live in the same place, in the same city, town, or village, and actually that you can organize, and you can start with different actions. For example, you can have an action with local people to make some local things, or some kind of jewelry, for example, whatever is popular and whatever is something that describes your culture. And for example, offer the opportunity, and tourists could come and visit these people who make local products, local souvenirs, so that actually you can help local population. We have, for example, also in Tenerife, something that you also can do. We organize here, some non-governmental organizations organize beach cleaning, because here we have a lot of tourists, and even though it's Europe, and you will think, okay, they don't have problem with with contamination and with garbage. Well, we really have, and we organize, for example, beach cleaning, that everybody who wants can join these activities and participate. So that is one way how people from local community can also participate. These are everything is voluntary. So actually, you don't pay anybody, but it's important to raise raise awareness. So for me and then for students, it would be good to organize, to make some kind of organization. When, for example, I was in Serbia, when I was studying tourism in Serbia, the students from my faculty and from other faculties, students of tourism, we had the organization Youth for Tourism. And for example, we organized some excursions for students, but like very cheap, because you don't have nobody that will take profit. We just paid how much accommodation is really, how much is, for example, the whole bus for 40 or 50 students. And we organized some low budget excursions in our country. And we had like local guides in every town, in every city that we visited. So for me, that was something really, really valuable experience. So that's another idea.
And then how do you promote your business to the international community?
I always suggest social media, like the best way, because of course it's, again, low budget, the cheapest way. So to the international community, you can use Instagram, you can use Facebook, you can use YouTube, of course, if you have some longer videos. So that is how you can promote it. And of course, if you have connections with some other students from some other countries, so like a word of mouth is the best. So if you have positive word of mouth, it will be easy to promote your well, what you're doing, your business or your organization internationally. So that is I think the most powerful method.
I remember a video was done about the Delta in Nigeria, where there's sort of a poor section that lives on the water there. And so they did a video about it on YouTube, and they said that they needed an orphanage because there were children there without parents. And so at the end of the video, they said, if you want to send some money, here's the link down below. And they only needed $15,000. And they ended up getting $80,000 in donations just from that one video. And they had to stop the donations. They said, okay, that's enough money. Please don't send any more.
Yes. Well, that is the best example, I think, that you could give us. So of course, if you want to raise money, that is the way. I think that if you maybe write a story, if you post some pictures, it's also will be good. But if you have a video and if you have somebody who will explain the situation, I also believe that many people will send money. But just you need to have something that is secure, so that is safe and secure, so that people believe you. That is the most important, that people trust you and that people believe you. I did some kind of research. Well, I was supervising one student that actually was doing some marketing research about what is the most effective way to do promotions on Instagram. So what type of content people prefer. So actually people want somebody who they believe to. For example, if you are talking, you need to be a credible person. You need to write, okay, I'm a student of, I'm studying tourism at this university, and just, for example, give a short background about yourself so that people know who you are. You can share your maybe email or your private Instagram or Facebook account or YouTube, so that actually they can know more about you. When they know more about you, when they see that you're a credible person, they will trust you. So that was the same if you want also to sell some product or some service. It's important that trustworthiness with clients. Okay, do we have more?
Just can you think of any particular place in Africa that could be developed more for tourism?
Oh, well, so many places. I
mean, from your background in geosciences, is there a landform, a mountain, a river, a desert? What do you think?
A desert definitely like this type of excursions that people can do. So, I think that every part of Africa, every place, every country has its own natural beauties. So even if it's some waterfall, or if it's desert, or if it's some cultural place, something that is important. So it's also what we have to know is that we can make attraction out of everything. So it doesn't need to be something specific. We always look for something unique to attract tourists. But unique to a tourist is something that is really related to that local destination. So if there are friendly people, if they make some specific jewelry, never mind, we can find that jewelry in some other places. But okay, this is unique because only in this part they make it in some specific way, for instance. So that is what tourists are looking. And we just need to look around ourselves and to see what we have, and just to put ourselves in some other shoes. So actually to see, okay, if I were a tourist and if I came to this place, what would be interesting for me, and what would I like to see? And then you will really find a lot of answers, something that maybe for you is not so interesting, but for them, yes. For example, when I was a tour guide, and I was doing tours in Belgrade. It's the capital of Serbia, and it's one of the biggest cities in that part of Europe. So actually, when tourists came, they always asked me, where can we eat cevapi, that is like minced meat, something that is very famous in Serbia. But actually, you don't need to go to a restaurant to eat that. You can buy it in every kiosk and in every corner. So when I recommended, of course, also them some restaurants. They said, no, I really want to experience this local. And then they bought it in some kiosk, and they sat on a bench near it, and they were eating, and they were so happy, and they were very thankful that I told them where to buy and where they can buy the best cevapi, for example, in the city. So then I realized, okay, but they don't want something like high end or some I don't know, special comfort or some luxury things. They just want to see how local people live. So everything is interesting to tourists. Just look around yourself, and you will get many ideas.
We have a student from a little island in the Caribbean islands, San Lucia, and she lives on a little farm and they grow their own food, and they have their own little kitchen and their own house. And so she put together a project. There's like resorts on the beach along the coast. So she put together a project so that she would bring in tourists to her farm, set out a table, and feed them local food, and let them see the farm and the animals, and get to meet the people directly.
Yes, that is also something that that I did with my excursions in Serbia, also when I was a tour guide. So we had the same. For example, northern part of Serbia is very famous for this small farms, and we have a special word. We call them salashi, but it's that word cannot be translated actually. But let's say small farm. It's like family farm, and the family produces all the food, and they have a kind of restaurant or just several tables for tourists. And some of them, they even have traditional costumes from that part of the country. So they have some kind of exhibition in one room, for example. But people did that on their own, and it's something that really doesn't cost a lot, but it's the best experience for tourists, because also they can see animals, they can see where this food comes from. And today, when we have so many people that want to eat organic food, and that actually prefer organic food and not fast food, So when they see it, they are so happy. And of course, we had, for example, small like honey that farms sold, or some other jam, for example, that they prepare on their own. So tourists wanted to buy that. And also wine. Wine is very popular in that part of Serbia. So they bought, for example, bottles of wine that is produced on local farms. So then we show them, okay, this is the farm. You see here we produce wine. Then one family member explains them how actually they produce wine. They show them wine cellar. So everything that actually they have for themselves. It's interesting to tourists, and it's something that they like.
There's a question here from Isatu that in Sierra Leone, they have beautiful beaches, but the government is not paying attention to develop them for tourism. Like, I know I'm a surfer, and so when you find a nice surf spot with beautiful waves, tourists from around the world will come to ride those surf waves at that beach. So if you see a beautiful wave on your beach and nobody is there, that's a perfect spot for tourism.
Of course, a perfect spot for tourism. And but yes, that is really a situation, because I lived 3 years ago. I moved to Tenerife, but before I was living in Singapore, and I traveled in that part of Asia. And as you know, Singapore is like a high-tech city and very developed, sustainable city. Actually, but really sustainable. But when I traveled, wherever I traveled to surrounding countries like Indonesia, Malaysia, I visited also Philippines. So I really saw many problems that the local population is facing, and especially Bali, for example, which is one of the most famous islands for tourism, and also from surfers. And the beaches were so dirty that in some of them I couldn't even swim in the water. So I was on the beach the whole day, and taking shower only, because I could not swim. So actually that is the problem. But also there is a problem with our unconsciousness. I really cannot explain why some people just eat something and all leftovers they throw away. So that dirty beach is because people did that. People didn't throw garbage where they should. So I think that we definitely need to increase awareness, but increasing awareness is possible if we organize ourselves actually from the beginning. If we, for example, organize some non-governmental organization or just some action with local population, and then when tourists come, really they will appreciate that, and they will know to appreciate that, and it will be really the most valuable experience for them.
Okay, great. We had kind of a long conversation there about many things.
Yes.
Do you want to get back to your presentation? We have about
Yes, I can. If we
10
don't have
minutes.
more, yes, if we don't have more questions, I just have a couple more slides, so actually enough to finish this. So why are people still doing things even though we know that it causes negative impacts? So actually what we mentioned, we all have short-term vision, and that's money. We want it now and immediately, but we need really to look on long term, and that's why we need regulations that we mentioned, sustainable goods at same price. That's also a big problem in the world, and we need raising awareness. I think that all of this, yes, we explained in this discussion. So how can tourism be made more sustainable? Well, we have governments that, of course, must implement policies and integrated planning, and a lot of things are on government. Actually, I know that nothing can be done overnight, but actually with some planning and with policies, it is possible. But besides government, we have some other players that also can make tourism more sustainable. First of all, consumers that should be educated. So actually, we need to offer sustainable choices to tourists, and then they will choose it. If we don't offer them, how will they know? If they go to Airbnb, to Booking, okay, they will book what they have that. So it's what's on a plate. If we don't put enough food and if we don't put organic food in a plate, okay, they will not eat organic food. So actually the same is with tourism. We need to offer them sustainable choices. Also, local communities must have a right to participate in tourism decision making. I know this is something that especially in developing part of the world, the voice of local communities is not heard always, but that is what we should aim in the future. And non-governmental organizations, of course, with different activities, with different actions, and they need, of course, to report on the abuses of tourism. They can do a lot. I know several non-governmental organizations, for example, here in Tenerife, and that they're really doing a great job. So why not? Maybe some of the students can get an idea of what you can do for your local region. Also, workers must have their rights respected, because we know that in tourism, usually we have very low salaries. For example, people who work in hotels and in travel agencies as well. So that is that it's a sector that is really very well known for low wage salaries. So that is one way that that salaries should be increased, and that people will be more motivated to give more information to tourists, to give them more options, to put their ideas in practice. Because if people are not motivated, if people are not satisfied, of course they cannot produce good results. And we have the tourism industry that needs to submit to local tax regimes and regulations. So all enterprises, tourism enterprises, like actually all firms, they pay local taxes, but actually these local taxes should be used in a way to develop local communities and to hear them and to give them actually what they need, so that they can participate in tourism development. Here I have like corporations and the small and medium enterprises. Well, I mentioned them, small and medium enterprises, because they make up around 80% of all firms in tourism globally. So actually, what's the most sustainable? At one side, we have one big corporation, but on the other side, we have small and medium enterprises. So many small and medium enterprises. So what's the most sustainable? We can say that maybe the smallest one are usually the most sustainable, but actually if we have some little changes of the biggest ones, that's also not a huge impact. So I wanted to mention one example about one corporation, about Marina Bay Sands, for example, in Singapore, because I live there, so that's why I chose this example. I think you all know for Marina Bay Sands, or actually you've seen this picture. It's really a landmark of Singapore. And they have numerous green initiatives. For example, in their hotel lobby, in their hotel rooms, they have completely glass windows, and so that they can use natural light. Also, in hotel rooms, they have the system to turn off air conditioning if, for example, guests are not in their room for some period of time. They have herb gardens, so some plants that they use for making food for tourists. They also have sky park, wind arbor. They also collect rain, for example, and use rain for bathrooms, and also for there is one a channel in there is a shopping center, and one channel with boats. That's really really one very nice tourist attraction. So they use rain. They don't put potable water inside. They use rain for this. So actually Singapore is very famous for collecting rainwater from the whole city and country. And another example are like example of small and medium enterprises. This is one local example from Tenerife. That is Tasirga, like wellness tours. So actually they do only some local tours, and with small groups. Now, so here, for example, if you want to go on a tour, you will really experience local life. It depends what, for example, you're interested in. If you want to experience volcano Teide, or you want to see whales in the ocean, or you want to visit some town, or to do hiking tours. So actually there is everything for everyone, I think. So this is one example how you can promote tours for your area where you live. So just again, look around yourself, and you will, for sure, you will get a lot of ideas. And with good marketing, people will definitely come. Okay, we had one kind of discussion of debate, but actually for the end, if you have some other questions for me, or some doubts, some critiques, or you want to share something with us, so feel free. Now is your time.
There is a comment in chat from Emmanuel. Can you talk about this, a beneficial relationship between culture and tourism? How can that happen?
Mm-hmm. Okay, that means that local population have their own culture. Sometimes it can be some traditional dance. Sometimes they can, as I mentioned, make some jewelry. Sometimes they have some traditional songs that they can sing for tourists, or organize some kind of performance for tourists. So that is how we can have benefits between culture and tourism. We actually sell culture to tourists. So actually they will pay for watching that performance, and that is how they can see the way of life, local tradition, local customs. Of course, if we offer them local food, food is also a part of tradition and culture. So wherever you go, you want to try some local food. So that is also how we can benefit, and we can make a connection between tourism and culture. And also from my own experience, when I was living in Serbia, in my home country, I was dancing traditional dance, folklore, and we had some kind of concerts and performances for tourists. And for example, we had performances that lasted around maybe 45 minutes to 1 hour, that the tourist groups came to see that. So of course, that is the way how you can sell them a part of your culture.
And it seems a large part of it is finding a safe place, because people want to go to Africa, but it's finding that safe place where they can trust somebody, like you're saying. So
Yes.
it seems like there's an opportunity to show people that they can trust you, and then you will find the perfect place for them to stay, where to eat, and sort of take care of them.
Yes, of course. That is, tourists and all people want to travel somewhere where it's safe, where it's secure. But even though, for example, for Africa, they cannot find the information if it's safe to travel. If you want to sell them your accommodation and to offer them tours, you can get in contact with potential tourists and explain them how they can come. You can wait pick up them at the airport, for example, and do the whole tour with them, so they can trust you. The same thing with Serbia, actually, that we had the last war that happened. It was in 1999, so it was NATO bombing of Belgrade. So it's not so long time ago. Still, we feel the consequences, because tourists think that they will not feel safe if they travel to Serbia. But actually, we are changing that negative image. So our statistics is very positive, for example, and more tourists are coming. They return to their countries satisfied, and they spread positive word of mouth. They recommend the destination. Sometimes they even come the second or the third time. So of course, it's not so easy at the beginning, but slowly you can definitely develop a destination if it's really safe.
And I should say also that on YouTube, if you have a good YouTube video, like there are people down in South America who will do videos about playing music, how to make their instruments, or how to build huts from like 500 years ago. And they show you how to build these things. These videos will have 5 million views. And so these people are making a lot of money just by showing how they used to do things traditionally on the land, or how to cook things. So it's like you don't have to bring people to your country. You can show them through a YouTube video and make a lot of money.
Of course, if your aim is not to, of course, bring tourists, if you want to earn money, and you see that as a potential way, of course, go ahead. That is my suggestion, of course, always for advice for students. You can try, actually. Nothing will cost you to make a video and to publish it, or to put it on YouTube or on whatever social media. So you will see. You need to try. It's definitely.
And then I guess once you have a following of people who are subscribed to your channel, then you say, okay, we're opening up to tourism. Please come.
Of course, and then people will gain that trustworthiness that I mentioned again. So people will believe you. If they believe you, of course, that they will come. And of course, remember that we always have some tourists who are explorers, who are not mass tourists. So actually, more and more people really want to explore new destinations, to discover something new. So that part of tourism market, we really need to take into account with the tourists like this. Of course, you will not start immediately with I know how many tourists and with mass tourism, but slowly, one by one, they will come. When first tourists come, 100 will come, 1,000 will come, 10,000. So just it's important to bring the first tourists and to show them pictures, videos, and just to make a short video of that tourist that will say his or her own experience. Just 1 minute or 2 minutes is it's enough. So they will promote your destination. So you see that for promotion, just you need to bring the first tourist, and they will alone do promotion for your area.
Well, it looks like we've run out of time, unless you want to take more questions. Right. It's up to you.
Well, if we have more questions, I don't know.
Well, there are lots of ideas coming into chat about different places in Africa that could be developed for tourism, and safety, authentic information. There's a there's a question: is Africa a victim of stereotypes? So people stereotype Africa. They don't really know Africa. So I've heard it said in tourism that perception is everything.
Yes, perception does a lot. That's also one part of my first PhD dissertation about perception and about cognitive perception, what tourists know before going to destination, and that is something that they can find on media, TV, internet. So that is something that the information that is shared with everyone in the world. But actually, I think that people that we are now in phase where people are really learning how to believe or not to believe some information that they hear. We always want to know more. We always want to find more different opinions. So we ask our friends, we do our own research on the internet. So that is actually what we can do in this era of globalization with the internet, so that we can find really a lot of information, and we can always find local people wherever we want to travel. So I think it's, in a way, it's a victim of stereotypes, but I also think that situation is changing. I know that Tanzania, for example, is doing like tourism promotion really good, especially Zanzibar, that area that is very popular for tourists. So actually, there are very good examples.
Yeah, I suppose if there's a saint like from Africa, where was that saint born? Where did that saint live? And you can visit those sites. That, you know, that's a religious connection, or, you know, a special person that was born in Africa. Where did they live? How did they live? An artist or a poet.
Yes, of course, that is another way. Well, ideas in tourism, that's why I really love this, because you always can find something new. You always can invent something. You always can be innovative with your ideas. So yeah, about some poet or some famous person or some scientist, and to show, for example, the root of different discoveries. That's for me something really. I would really appreciate if I to see something like that when I travel and when I visited different countries. Of course, I always want to know if there is any famous person from that country, what he invented, or why he's so popular, and well, everything that guide can give me.
Like if you go to Serbia, are there places where you can visit where Tesla was born and where Tesla worked?
Well, Tesla was born in one small village that's actually that's now in Croatia. He was a Serb, but he was born in Croatia. So that his village is not in Serbia, but there is Tesla Museum in Serbia. That's I think one of the best experiences where you can really see the experiments that that people there like special tour guides that work there, they show. So you have also some videos on YouTube about his experiments from Tesla's museum in Belgrade. And I know that some tour guides in Serbia, in Belgrade, organize the tour, like where Tesla came to Belgrade, I think twice in his life. And there is a route where he was walking, and this part that he of the city that he visited. So actually, some guides do this kind of tour. So these are some special tours. For example, I didn't do that because I was working for a couple of years as a tour guide, but actually didn't have time. Then I moved to Singapore, so I did some more conventional tours, not so. I didn't have any special like special tour like this one, Tesla. But this is something that I also visited with tourists from my groups. Some of them wanted to visit Tesla's museum, so of course we went to Tesla's museum, and it's a really nice experience. I would suggest, if you one day go to Serbia, that's one like of must.
I know the story of a man down in Chile who lives on a river. And so he was out fishing with his family one day, and this man comes along and says, "Do you have a boat?" And the man says, "Yes." "Can you take me around the river?" "Sure, I will take you around the river." So the man got into the boat and they went and did a little tour of the river. And then that man told other people, and then those people told other people, and now he has a full-time job taking people up and down the river on the boat.
Yes, that's I have also another example from Serbia. That is one part in eastern Serbia, Golubac, and I know one tour guide who he actually I think he finished history at the Faculty of Philosophy, and he started because he likes history and he knows so many interesting stories about his small town. And there is a river Danube that is the second longest river in Europe, and actually in that part Danube is so big that it's like a lake. So he did, and there is also an old fortress. So he did like that. He wanted to earn some pocket money, I think, at the beginning. And he did during the summer. He did a couple of tours. He was there and asking some tourists, oh, would you like to go with me a tour on a boat? It's short tour, half an hour, just around the fortress, and that's it. So he was telling a couple of interesting stories for maybe half an hour, that what he could tell them for that period of time. And he started slowly, and then he with a small boat, and then he bought a bigger one. So now he also has accommodation there. He rents accommodation to tourists. So actually, what I told you, if you have only one tourist, the first one needs to come, and it's our job to find that first tourist. We will definitely develop tourism.
Well, there's so much to talk about here, so many more ideas about being sustainable, developing tourism, but letting it respect the culture and doing it in a sustainable way for the environment. So we look forward to having you back to continue bringing up these subjects, because there's a lot of opportunity here.
Yes, of course, and a lot of different examples, and a lot of ways. It's today it was anthropocentrism and sustainable tourism, but actually we can relate it to many different areas. And of course, students can write what they would like to hear and what they would like to know more about. And of course, we will adapt the sessions to their wishes always.
Well, this has been a great presentation about lots of opportunities in tourism. And the recording of this presentation by Irena Travar will be on the AIU YouTube channel. So I can put the link down here again, I think, if I still have it. Yes. I have the link still copied in my computer. So you can go check out the video again and listen to it again to get some ideas, to get your mind thinking about how you can bring people. Just one person has to come in and you show them around where to eat, what to visit, in the safe places to meet people, and show them a good time. And then you get a reputation, and then other people will come. You get a recommendation from them on social media, and then you have a business, right? Sometimes it's just that easy, isn't it?
Of course, it's not so difficult, and I really like that process. I really enjoy. So believe me, if you make your business from scratch on your own, you will be very satisfied, and your life will be your business. Your business will be your life, and you will enjoy. Like you will not feel that you work, and that's the most important, to work what you like, actually, and to earn, of course, enough money from what you like to do. And tourism is definitely something that we all can develop, we all can enjoy, and earn, of course, enough money.
Well, we want to thank you, Irena Travar, for coming back again, and we hope to see you again with new ideas, new presentations.
Of course. I would just like to share my email. It's here. If some of the students has any idea or whatever, or some question or something, of course you can always contact me, and I will answer to all your questions and be there for you.
Yeah, let's leave that up for a little bit so everybody can write that down, because it is really good to form alliances, like a coalition.
Yes.
Support, have somebody you can ask questions to. I think I'm ready. What social media can I get into? And you say, well, do you have an Instagram, right? So that you can ask questions to you to get quick answers.
Yes, of course. I just shared my email. Is it okay, or you would like some?
I think that's perfect. Are you ever looking yourself for business opportunities in Africa, or know of people who are?
Actually, I know I know people who are now in Africa, and they're actually from Serbia, but they are doing a business in Africa. So I know some people, and related to myself, for now I'm here, but actually if some opportunity occurs in the future, I'm always open, of course, for new opportunities.
Think about that, because there are business opportunities. You connect with people and say, I have a good business opportunity. Well, let's see what we can do to get some business. And then you can do consulting work for them and help them get customers. And that's part of your business too, correct?
Yes, that's part of my business. Yes, I also do consulting for some tourism companies. So actually, whatever doubt that you have, we can have a consultation, and I will do my best to help you, of course.
And so maybe you would even charge a fee, I don't know, but at least by you consulting to somebody, that makes them more money too. So it's like you use your resources, you respect your resources, and then you make money because you're developing a business.
Yes, of course. If you want to develop a business, of course, we can. The first consultation is always free. Like, just I need to know if I can help you and what is your idea. But actually, of course, as students, if you just want to ask me something about your studies or whatever, you have some research project, I'm always open for collaboration. So just send me an email with your idea, and we will find a solution. So
that's perfect. Okay, then we'll look forward to the next time you come. I'll let everybody unmute their microphone so that they can say bye to you. Let me see. There. You can all unmute your microphones to say goodbye to Irena.
Bye-bye. Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
bye.
Again. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.